Hello chess fans out there. Welcome to the Craig Marr Chess Channel. Today we're going to be discussing Mastery of the Middle Game, Part 1. I know that many of you are studying the opening a lot, but the rating points are really in the middle game and learning middle game patterns. Today I have 9 important middle game rules for us to study. The first rule that we're going to be looking at is, what do you do with the knight in the middle game? Now, you kind of have to have a strategy whenever you're involved in a complex middle game. The knight is a type of piece that you want to penetrate. The knight should be attacking holes and attacking weak pawns. Now, the second rule that we're going to be looking at is the fact that the queen and the knight are a powerful attacking pair. I see too many of you guys trying to attack with the knight alone. Isn't gonna work, man. Supposing you have a knight attacking an area of the board with 10 pieces defending. Just think about that. It's kind of like you have a little mouse trying to lift up a Mack truck. It isn't going to work. You're simply outnumbered. So my best advice for this particular rule is, when you're attacking with the knight, try to always have the queen with the knight. You know, not just have the knight going out and attacking alone. It isn't going to work. Now the third rule that we're going to be looking at today is, I want you in most middle games positions to pick an area of the board to attack. Now, you could be attacking the queen side, you could be attacking the center, or you could be attacking the king directly. But I see too many of you guys spreading your attack around because you're sort of like not sure where you should be attacking. So I see some of you guys spreading your attack on the queen side, and then now you're attacking in the middle, and then now you're deciding you're going to put some pieces on the king side. This kind of wishy-washy chess doesn't cut it, because sometimes attacks are dependent upon acting swiftly. But when you're wasting time on the wrong side of the board, you're just wasting time. Unproductive maneuvers. The fourth thing that we're going to discuss is the fact you should keep developing your pieces on into the middle game. Once you bring your knight out to c3, you bring your knight out to f3, constantly look for better squares. If that's the maximum you can do with that piece, fine. but don't retreat the piece. That's bad. In chess, you always want to go forward and only defend if necessary. In chess, the best defense is offense. Keep the other guy on his heels. Keep the other guy defending. And that's the way to play aggressively. You gotta play aggressive. Now, the fifth principle or rule of the middle game is when you're attacking, use the queen. The queen is like an atom bomb. Use it. It's a great attacking piece. When you don't have enough force, like if you only got a bishop and a knight on the attack, it's not going to produce a checkmate. You always, in most cases, need the queen to attack with. Now, the sixth principle that we're going to be looking at today is you want to learn patterns, and I don't want you to be memorizing moves that much in the opening, because chess is really the ability to improvise, to play good moves that when you're in unfamiliar territory. The seventh rule that we're going to look at today is don't study the opening too much. The more you study the opening and the more you start memorizing, the less you're going to really understand about the game. It's not very productive to memorize 20 of book moves. Now, the eighth principle that we're going to learn today is the bishop and the knight, at least in the middle game, have about equal value. I know that Fischer and many masters like to give the bishop, a little bit of extra value. That is true when the bishop has an open position, and when the bishop goes into the end game, it usually has more value because it has range over the knight. But I want you to think that in most middle game positions, the bishop and the knight are interchangeable pieces. Now, the ninth rule that we're going to talk about today is what kind of thought process should I have in the middle game? What are my goals whenever I reach a complex middle game? Now, a lot of you are thinking, how am I going to win material? And a lot of you are thinking, how can I win quickly by trapping my opponent? Well, that is not really a good, productive way to approach the middle game. And I'll tell you why. Because you should really be thinking about how am I going to improve my position, not how am I going to win material. A lot of us, when we're B and C and D players, we don't realize how important position is in the game of chess. It's not about winning material, it's about getting to a winning position. That's what you really want. And I want you guys to realize that usually it's position which wins the game, not material. So I don't want you to keep thinking about how am I going to win a pawn or how am I going to win the exchange. I want you to really think about improving your position, because you can't win in chess when you have a bad position. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's get to today's game, which I have the white pieces. This is a game that was played a long time ago in 1987. against an expert. Mr. Vancouver was rated 2174. He had the black pieces, and I had white, and I was rated 2472 at this time. Let's get to it. So I opened up with knight f3, knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, d5, d4. And so here we have a main line of a Queen's Gambit declined. These are all standard book moves. Now comes the first important choice of the game for white. What do I do with the bishop? Now I'm going to pause for just a while and let you think about it. Here, my move was bishop to rook 4. Now I can take the knight in this position because the knight is such a valuable piece here. Remember that what we talked about earlier, that the bishop and the knight, at least in the middle game, are pretty much interchangeable pieces. So bishop takes knight was played quite a bit in the Kasparov-Karpov matches. So it is a move. White has the better game at this stage. This is good exchanging off his good bishop, and he's stuck with a bad bishop. Now I did this exchange so I could bring the knight in to f5. Now I can win material because this guy's hanging, and then capture the bishop. But he comes up with a very good way out. I thought I really had him, but this is very clever of him. And look at this. look at this. He comes up with some brilliant defenses. Now I have to figure out what am I going to do with the queen. I decided to come out and attack his king. Well, there's more tricks. If he takes the knight, I fork his queen. So now I have to move this guy. And instead of taking the pawn, I decided to go after his king here. The rook, the knights, and the queen create a deadly attack. This bishop is out of it. Now here, white has a deadly move. Can you find it? I hope you guys found this killer. Now I'm forking the queen and the king, right? So he has to capture it, right? And once he captures it, I simply retreat the knight, and there's no way to prevent mate here. So at this point, black resigned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.